Okay, so today we are going to do learning target number 7. And if you look on the front, learning target number 7 has to do with volume. So it says I can use the volume formula to calculate volumes of 3D shapes. So we're going to take a minute. We've talked about 2D shapes really up until now, but we're going to go into the 3D shapes and calculate volume. Okay, so on any test that you'll have in this year, you'll have a reference sheet, and these formulas can all be found in the reference sheet. There's just a couple things we have to talk about. So anytime you see R, that means radius. Okay. Anytime you see B, that means the base. But anytime you see a big B, that means the area of the bottom shape. So for example, if you have a prism, any type of prism, for example, this one, the base of this, for example, number 3, the base of this prism is a right triangle, as you can see. So when I say the big B, that means the area of the base, which is the area of this triangle. Okay? A couple other things. Area of a triangle, so the triangle area is 1/2 base times height, and that means the bottom length of the side. So in this case, the base would be 4, the height would be 3. Okay, so those are just a couple things you need to know, and as we work through these examples here, you'll be able to kind of see this. So if you look, this one here is a cylinder. Cylinders have circle bases, so it kind of looks like a can of soup or something like that. So if you look, this is the radius here, and then this is the height. So our cylinder formula is V equals pi r squared h. So the volume is pi. My radius, like I said, is 7 centimeters, so that's going to go in for r squared, and then my height is 10. A couple other things. If it says leave your answer in terms of pi, which we're going to do for these 4, that just means don't multiply pi when you're doing the problem. So I'm going to leave pi in my answer. So I'm just going to do 7 squared, which is 49, and then times 10. So my answer is 490 pi. And if you remember from the beginning of this unit, we talked about, and this is going to be centimeters, don't forget to label, cubed, because we're doing length times width times height. Volume is always cubed because we're multiplying 3 types of dimensions. So if you remember from the beginning of this unit, pi is an irrational number, which goes on forever. So if you end up multiplying this number by pi, it'll go on forever. So this is the exact answer because we don't have to round pi at all. It's just there. I can type this into my calculator and somebody could know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is the exact answer, and I don't want to round it. So that's how you would leave it if you don't want to round it. Or if it says exact, or leave your answer in terms of pi. Okay, the next one, I'm going to do number 3. So we talked about this. The volume of this, because this is a prism, is B times H. Okay, that B is the area of the triangle on the bottom. So if you could technically write this, the area of the base is 1/2 base times height, and then times the height of the pyramid. Okay, so the base of this triangle, and this is talking about that triangle here. The base of that triangle is 4, and the height is also 4. So in that parentheses, that's just the base or the area of the triangle. Then if I want to find the area of the prism, I got to multiply that by the height of 8. So if I do that on my calculator, I get times 4 times 4 times 8. So the volume for this will be 64 yards cubed. Okay, so all I did was type all of that into my calculator there. 64 yards cubed. Okay, for radius, or for sphere, you have to look at the sphere volume, so that ends up being 4/3 pi r cubed. And the only thing you need to know for spheres is the radius. So I'm going to plug in 3 where r is. Okay, and all I'm going to do is type this in, except I'm not going to write pi, or I'm not going to multiply pi. So I'll do 3 to the third power, which is 27. And then I'm just going to multiply 27 by 4/3. And I get 36 pi. And my units are yards again, so yards cubed. So my volume for this is 36 pi yards cubed. Okay? All right, so that's volume of spheres. Spheres are easy because they really only have one dimension you have to worry about. This one is a pyramid. So if you look, this volume formula is 1/3 big B times H. Again, big B means the base of whatever you're talking about. So in this shape, the base is a rectangle. How do I find the area of a rectangle? Well, I just do length times width. So I can replace this B with length times width, and then I can fill it in. So, I know I didn't give you a ton of room here. 1/3, the length of the base is 32, the width is 17, and then my height for this whole pyramid is 24. And now I can just type that all in my calculator. So I'm going to do 1/3 times 32 times 17 times 24. And I should get 4,352 feet cubed. Okay. So the big pieces you got to remember when you're doing this is anytime you see the big B, it's talking about the base of the shape. So in this case, the base was a rectangle, so we calculated the area of the rectangle. In this case, the area was, well, the base was a triangle, so we calculated the base of the area of the base of the triangle. So those formulas might change depending on what shape your base is. Okay, so if you flip to the next page, the base of this is this triangle, so you want to calculate the area of that triangle first. Okay, this one is a rectangle, so or a square, you'll use the base of that. Okay, so anytime you see a big B, it's the area of the base, not the length of a side. Okay, all right, practice on these 2 pages, and then have your teacher check your answers when you're done.